Welcome to the Hair of the Dog podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Begley, and today we are talking about outsourcing. Now, before you're like, whatever, turn this off. Wait, don't. Don't. If you have a business, this pertains to you. Even if you think that you don't have enough things to outsource, you don't have enough consistent clients yet to outsource, you don't want to have the expense of outsourcing, all of those things, just listen. Just take the next 45 minutes, listen to this podcast, and see if you've changed your mind a little bit, because there are so many ways that you can find someone to support you in your business that do not cost a lot of money, that can be on a project basis. They can be on a super part-time business. We're talking 2 or 3 hours a week, and it doesn't even have to be consistent at first until you have more work. And that allows you then to, instead of working in your business, you're working on your business. You can focus more on building your business, getting more clients in the door, your marketing and growing your client experience, all of that kind of stuff, while somebody helps support you with some of the more routine tasks in your business. So definitely take a listen to this. Actually, I think everyone should listen to this, even if you're not in business, because you could even take some of these things that we're going to be talking about and start outsourcing things in your life to buy back more time, because time is very limited. 24 hours a day, that's all any of us get. And we need to be able to use it effectively. And I think this conversation will help you do that. So stay tuned. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Hair of the Dog podcast. I am so excited today to have a new friend on the podcast, Miss Sara Monika. She is a documentary. Oh my gosh, it's a word that I can sometimes not say. For wedding photographer, photography educator, and she also has her own podcast, the Shine Plus Thrive Photography Podcast. A rebel at heart, Sara's mission is to shift the paradigm of the photography industry, both for her wedding couples and for us, her fellow photographers. And today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite things, one of the things that I could not survive without, and that is outsourcing. Hey, Sara, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks so much.
Oh my gosh, of course, of course. Yeah, a mutual friend introduced us and we were like, "Oh, let's talk about some outsourcing." I'm like, "Yes,
Yes, let's nerd
sweet.
out.
Oh my gosh." I know for me, oh my gosh, how long has it been? Probably 5.5, 6 years since I hired my first part-time person in my
Mhm.
business. And from everyone that I've talked to that has finally made that step, they're always like, "Man, I wish I did that earlier," because it's made a world of difference. And quite frankly, there's no way I could do what I do if I didn't have my team, which has grown at this point. But yeah, I'm excited to dive into this with you, because I think a lot of you, now if you're out there and you've just heard the title of this and you're like, "Ah, God, like I don't need to outsource." You're not allowed to turn this off. You need to listen through the entire
Literally.
episode, and then you can decide, okay, I don't need to outsource, because Sara, you're going to share like the top 8 tasks towards the end of this that you
Mhm.
use to outsource. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yay! Uh,
Yeah.
well, before we get started though, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about you and your background and kind of what your first kind of foray into the outsourcing, and kind of how you came to be such an outsourcing advocate.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I've been a photographer now for 12, 13 years. And like, long story short, there was just a time where, in the beginning, you're so excited to do anything and everything in your business because you're like, I'm growing it. I'm growing it. Everything that I'm doing is important because it's actually going to take me forward into being able to have people trust me to book them, to photograph them, all these things. But um that didn't last very long. That whole like fantasy and idea of like the boutique experience. Like, I do everything myself. I wear all the hats. Like, the only way people will trust me is if I do everything myself. And you kind of like pride yourself on like being in that hustle mode and like doing everything yourself, having that control. And pretty quickly, maybe like 4 years in, I guess maybe that's not that fast. I mean, but 4 to 5 years in, I just realized I'm like, why do I feel like so like I'm just constantly in catch up mode, trying to catch up to
Hmm.
my queue. And my client experience is such a priority. Like, I wanted the turnaround time for their wedding photos to be not like a handful of months. I genuinely would just, I'm like, my turnaround time was 2 to 3 weeks. And so,
Mhm.
because that I prioritized that so much, I capped my bookings. I only took on maximum 15 weddings a year. But then I was only making like, I don't know, 20 something that thousand take home income, like after expenses
Right.
and everything. And I'm like, how am I making so little money? And then, but I'm working so hard. I'm literally working 12 to 15-hour days. I can't give more of myself.
Right.
There's no more time for me to give. Is this just how it's going to be? And then I thought of like future Sarah. I'm like, what are my goals? What are my aspirations? I'm like, well, eventually I want to have a family. I want to have kids. I want to have the freedom to be able to travel the world and just live my life, have that harmony that I thought I would have if I was my own business owner, right? we
Yes.
A lot of the times we get into business thinking, I'm my own boss, so I get to do what I want when I want, but then we end up becoming a worse boss to
Oh,
ourselves than we could have had like actually live like with another job. Cuz
100%. One of my
yeah.
favorite quotes is like, "Why would I work 40 hours for someone else when I could work 80 hours for myself?"
Yes. It's so funny. Yeah, and initially it is amazing. You do feel so free, but eventually when like that's where I got to, I'm like, "Wait a second. I'm actually not treating myself very well." I
Mhm.
actually calculated. I was like, "Okay, if I'm working this many hours and making this amount of money, how much am I making per hour?" It was like under $5 an hour.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
under minimum wage, and I'm like, "This doesn't make sense." And so I'm like, "Something has to shift. This is not sustainable." So yeah, I decided to like try outsourcing, figure it out on my own. Oh my God, was that a freaking headache? Like trial and error, doing it blindly without, because you're not taught this in
No.
school. You're not
Mm-mm.
taught this. Like in the photography course I took, we just learned photography. We didn't learn business and all of that. And so it took me like a good 2 to 3 years by myself blindly to figure out how to do it on my own. And then I actually decided, I'm like, you know what? I need to learn from others that have done it. Like there's so many businesses in this world that actually have help and support. And why is it that the norm in the photography industry is to meet up in the winter and laugh and be like, haha, finally we're out of our editing caves. Now we can hang out. And then summer comes around and everyone's like, I'll see you in like 8 months. And then it's a joke, but really, it's like really, it's our lives that we're talking about. So I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm investing in my education. I'm going to really learn how to do this properly. And then from the knowledge that I learned on how to, find the right person for you, whether it's your editor, virtual assistant, anything like that, how to train them effectively, how to give feedback, how to set up your, standard operating procedures in the back
Mhm.
end in case they quit or anything like that. I learned all of that and I learned it from outside of the photography industry. So I still had to figure out my most efficient outsourcing workflows. Like, for example, I would outsource my editing to my editor, and then I would spend 3 to 4 hours still trying to fix everything myself. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This is still not efficient enough. So I developed my own efficient quality checking system and feedback system where it only takes me maximum, if I were to give feedback, 10 minutes. And then also, if I have to do any small fixes, it's maybe half an hour of a
Ooh,
full
I
wedding
love
day,
that.
800 photos. Like, so I pretty much was like nerding out on figuring out those systems. Once I had those systems in place, I was shooting like 37 weddings a year, working part-time hours during the week. So like 4-day work days during the week while shooting 37 weddings. And I'm like, I have so much time on my hands. What am I going to do? And I'm like, photographers need to know this because there's too many photographers that are their mental health is suffering, their
Mhm.
health is suffering, their relationships are suffering. It's a ripple effect. If we're too buried in our work, we can't we don't have the opportunity to number one, see a way out, and number two, like actually get out of that cycle to live a more harmonious life because life is short. And so,
Mhm.
pretty much on a mission to help freedom driven photographers get out of that cycle and pretty much create a movement in the industry to make it a norm that photographers have support in their business and it's not taboo. Like, you don't have to be ashamed about telling your clients, yeah, I get help with my editing and don't worry, everything is quality checked, like, but I get the support I need so I can show up as my best self for you and my life. So, Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, and I think from a client's perspective, it actually makes, I think, us look in their eyes more professional because, "Oh, like, we
Yeah.
must be really in this business, having serving clients, making money, doing all the things because, look, we have a team, we have people working with us."
Yeah.
So I think from their perspective, it actually elevates our business where we might be concerned of like, "Oh, but they're losing touch with me."
Mhm.
But as long as they're still getting that great service, it's fine. I think the biggest objection, and one of the bigger objections that I had when I started, was I had the story that if I brought someone else into my business, it opened up a whole new can of what ifs. Because if I did it all, I could control it all.
Mhm.
And if I brought someone else in, then it was like, all right, what if they do it wrong? What if they quit? What if I get so dependent on them that, and then they leave and I'm screwed? I mean, at this point in my business, there's certain things that my team does that I don't even know what they
Yes.
do. Someone's like, "Nicole, how do you do that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll have to ask Liz."
Yeah.
But we've created the processes. So if, Liz decided to leave, then what she does is written down so that somebody else can come in or I can figure out what we were doing so that it's not this big scary thing, but it seems like it at first. So I
Mhm.
think that's the big objection. And then number two is, always comes down to the money piece of just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, now I'm feel responsible for this, or thinking that you need to bring someone on as like a permanent part-time or full-time position. And we're going to talk about, oh my gosh, the ways you can start so easy. I still have project-based people on my team that
Mhm.
aren't they just come in for when we need some extra hands. So yeah, I'm so excited to dig into all of this.
Yeah, and actually you mentioning the whole control thing, right? You're scared
Uh-huh.
to let go of control to another person. Because then you're like, "But what if they quit and they leave me and
Uh-huh.
this?" And it's like, "But what if? You're gonna be back to where you are now in the pain of the hustle and the drudgery, and you're already out of control." That's
Right.
the funny thing is, like, we need to realize if you're already working 12 to 15-hour days, 7 days a week, exhausted, your only place to go is up. And
Yes.
just because you don't know how to do it yet doesn't mean it's not possible. There are systems, there are solutions, there are ways to vet people, to train people in a way that you don't have to like retrain the new employee in the future. There are ways to do things efficiently and effectively. And if you're already out of control, then I would suggest choosing maybe a different path where initially you might feel out of control because someone
Mhm.
is helping you with something. But the cool thing is you can literally show them step by step how to do something exactly like you do. They replicate it because you learned it at some point. So everything is
Mhm.
teachable. And then guess what? You're actually, when you have the support that you need and find and everything's running smoothly, they're trained, you are in more in control than you ever have been in your business because you're not
Yeah.
being reactive daily, you're being proactive. That's where the growth really happens.
And then it gets really, really fun when you start bringing people into your team that do things way better than you do. Like, for
Yeah,
instance, graphics. I am not a graphics gifted person. I like open up Canva, and even with all the templates, I'm like,
still
I don't
overwhelming. Yeah.
wanna know. But I have people that help me that they are amazing at it, and they find it fun where I want to like gouge my eyeballs out.
Yeah.
So that's such an important piece. And I want to touch on one thing that you said too about, when you're feeling like you're just at wit's end and you hear all about the 12, 15-hour days, but you could be at wit's end with your schedule working 6-hour days, so I don't want any of you guys to hear that and think, oh well, I don't work 12-hour days, but like you are spending so much time doing the like nitty gritty in your business that you are
Mm,
not having time to focus on marketing or growing your business, or not having time to enjoy your life. If you find yourself saying, I'll do that when this is done, I'll do this when that is done, which, I mean, I'm guilty of that too.
yeah, hi.
Like, I'm not
It's
on
me,
this.
hi.
Yeah,
I'm the
I'm the
problem, it's
problem.
me.
Yeah,
Hey, Taylor
100%.
Swift.
So I'm not sitting up here on some like holier than thou couch because I still struggle with this on the regular. Um, but really, you can buy back so many things, so much time, because that's the we can't we all get 24 hours a day. We can't change
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And if you are not spending those 24 hours a day how you want to be spending them, then there are ways to make this happen so that, you can enjoy your life and build that profitable, thriving business to support
Yeah,
that life.
exactly. I love that you mentioned that, like, tasks, if you're noticing that there are tasks that drain you and
Mhm.
bore you and you procrastinate them, those are signs of things you need support with. So you can spend more of your time on those tasks that excite you, bring you joy, like editing, shooting. Who knows? Everyone is so different, right? But
Mhm.
I love that you brought that up. It's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything else? We already kind of pretty much covered why you guys should definitely
Mhm.
consider looking for support. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about in terms of why people might want to do this?
Why? I mean, there's so many whys. I think the thing that hits home to me, I'm a new mom,
Mhm.
like 13 months in.
Aw.
Loving this stage so much, holy crap, like, it's my favorite stage so far. But, man, it just really when I used to have my students tell me my kids used to, like, try to get through my office door and be like, "Please, mom, please, can we hang out
Mm.
tonight? Can we hang out
Mhm.
tonight?" And they would sometimes even get through and just, like, literally shut off the computer, like, press the off button on the computer, be like, out of desperation. And I felt that pain for them when they would tell
Mhm.
me those stories, but now I feel it so I can understand it so much more now actually having my own kid, and it's like it's that's what life is about, and at the end of the day, my why has always been to have more time with my favorite people and
Right.
for myself, and it's like that's so all my students' whys as well. So it's like number 1, feeling fulfilled and excited about your work, not drained and stressed. And number 2, having time with your favorite people or to do what you want to do when you want to do. Maybe you're an introvert and maybe you never planned on having kids and getting married, but you want to have so much more freedom to experience all different life's pleasures. So that's a huge why. Um, Another reason why is it can cost you way less than you think. Like the
Mhm.
cool thing about life is we have so many things that we don't know, right? And we can continue to learn and learn, discover new things. And I know that I was in a place where I didn't know what I didn't know. I had assumptions. I was assuming that I would have to hire someone full-time or part-time. That's the only way. But
Mhm.
you can hire someone to start for 2 hours a week or 3, and you can also hire overseas ethically just
Mhm.
because it's the conversion rate on the dollar for even $5 to $7 an hour to start, and that is a good regular pay and hourly pay for them. That person gets work, they get to work from home, do freelance work that they wanna do, it's like a win-win. So, another reason why is it's like it's a lot more cost effective than you think, and if you can buy your time back for in a cost effective way, that's how you open the door and the portal to that lifestyle freedom and business freedom.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All of the yeses. Yeah, I would always question myself. My kids are older now. They're almost 13 and almost 16. They'll be that age this summer. So a couple more months. But
Wow. Mhm.
and it's you go from these phases of, they're young, you're like have to feed them and all of these things. And now they're at the age where they can feed themselves, but they have their own life that I need to be available to take them to soccer, take them here, do these things.
Mhm.
And it's amazing how busy it is, but it's all been just so fun. And I never want, like, I've always been kind of cognizant as they're growing up that I would never want them to not wanna run their own business because they looked at me and said, "But she worked all the time."
Oh
You
my god,
know?
I just got the biggest goosebumps. That makes me even wanna cry. I'm a Cancer, so I'm really sensitive. I just
Yeah.
that's so beautiful.
But, I worry
Yeah.
about that because I love my job and, like, they're not up in the morning, I sneak down into here, and I feel like I balance it because we do a lot of amazing trips and we go do a lot of things, so when I'm home, it's like we're working, we're doing
Mhm.
things, and we still do fun stuff, but, hopefully, they can see that you can have, especially for my daughter, that I want her to be able to be like, "Yeah, you can have kids and a business, you can do
Yeah.
all of the things,
Mhm.
and you have to get help in order to do so," you
And make
know?
really good money. You it
Yeah.
doesn't like hustle doesn't have to equal to making really good money. Like the
Mhm.
year that I decided to outsource, I mean, I'm a very transparent, open person with numbers because I think it's a
Yeah.
taboo topic. If everyone just kind of knew what was possible for them and,
Right.
open conversation. So I think 2015 is when I started to outsource and I was making $69,000 in revenue. So that's gross
Mhm.
revenue, expenses, tax, my income included. And then the following year, when I got more of my time back, I doubled that in just 1 year. And since 2015, I've quadrupled that 69,000 number in revenue a year. So the more I outsource, the less I work and the more I make. It's like the most
Yes.
beautiful recipe. And it's
Uh-huh.
counterintuitive.
It
That's the
is.
yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we're both in, James Wedmore's world, and he would always say, "The less you work, the more you make."
Yes.
I'm still
Yeah.
trying to continue to lessen my work.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's a continuous
yeah.
practice of, like,
Uh-huh.
being, conscious of, like, "Wait, am I the one that's supposed to be doing this task, or can I let it go?"
Uh-huh.
Continuous, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and also looking at your business and asking yourself, "Where am I the bottleneck?"
Yes.
Especially once you start bringing this might be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, once you start
Mhm.
bringing a couple people on, then I find that, like, again, "Hi, I'm the problem, it's me, to my team." The only reason we haven't moved forward in that is because they're waiting for me. So, uh, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, so anyway, I think we covered the why. You
Mhm.
guys better all want to get some help now and feel inspired. I think you should. But if you're like, "All right, yeah, no, that sounds good, but oh my god, what the heck do they do? How? What does this even look like?"
Yeah. Okay, let me paint you guys a picture. I like to share actual numbers, data, examples to really paint a picture for everybody. So, I have put together literally sharing you my top 8 tasks. And I think outsourcing can be a big topic and you can outsource your editing, you can have an editor. But one thing that I really love and it's such a great like way to bridge the gap from like just getting started with outsourcing to starting to get some support and gaining momentum there is actually hiring a virtual assistant. And like I mentioned, you can do it ethically overseas for five to
Mhm.
seven dollars an hour to start, incredibly affordable. And so I'm going to share with you the top 8 tasks that I have my virtual assistant do for me with the photography side of my business. And since I specialize in photographing weddings, this is my actual data.
Yeah.
So I'm basing this off of a year where I photographed 20 weddings.
Okay.
And so I'm going to keep that number because I find a lot of photographers, that's like the average of how much they kind of take on. So it's pretty relatable to most. So task number one is so whenever I send out a questionnaire to a client for them to fill out with any information that I need. I used to copy and paste that information from that intake form into like this pretty color coded template that I print out, take with me on wedding days, so that I'm very well organized and prepared. Right, it just
Mhm.
helps me so much visually and stay on track with everything. And I was just sitting there, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. It takes me half an hour ish per questionnaire. And there's like 3 that I send out. Like, this is ridiculous. So, pretty much that's one of the tasks I get help with. And that saves me about an hour and a half per wedding client. So, that's about 30 hours saved during busy season. Just keep
Wow.
that in mind.
Uh-huh.
At the end of all the 8 tasks, I'm going to tally up the numbers. So, don't worry about keeping
Alright,
track.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's 30 hours saved during busy season just for that. I've also trained my virtual assistant how to cull, and she's actually
Oh.
never had any experience with this, but everything is teachable and
Oh.
trainable. I know. The
That's like
anxiety.
yeah, that's giving up a lot of power, a lot of artistic power.
The cool thing is there's a formula behind your artistic power. And
Oh,
I teach
wow.
yeah, there's a formula. Everything you do, there is a way that you do it and it's teachable.
Uh-huh.
And so this, her helping me with culling saves me on average 3 hours per wedding and on average 1 hour per session. I'm just gonna average it out because everything's
Yep.
so different, right? And so let's just say that's 70 hours saved during busy season. Okay, next one up. Next one that's up 3. So, curating top storytelling photos for short slideshows and blog posts. So, what I do is I create 2 slideshows for my wedding clients. One is a short 3-minute one where it's like a more impactful emotional storytelling a slideshow where it shows like the top emotive images and storytelling way for them to
Mhm.
kind of see their wedding like in a trailer kind of
Oh, yeah,
vibe, and
okay.
it hits them more emotionally, and that's something that their friends and family would actually watch, they wouldn't watch
Mhm.
something much longer than that, so it's a great way to market your business as well, and so pretty much I have a process where instead of doing work twice, I have it all in one go where the photos that are chosen for the short slideshow are also the blog post photos. So I've trained my VA on how to curate those because there's a formula behind that.
Mhm.
So that saves me about an hour per wedding, and that's about 20 hours saved during busy season. 20 hours. Just keep in mind that's like half a work week already just with this
Right?
one task. And then she also helps me with my long slideshow creation and short slideshow creation. So the long slide shows all the photos included, just so they could sit back, relax, eat a snack, have a drink, enjoy it. And so that saves me about 1 hour per wedding, and that's another 20 hours saved during busy season. And then task number 5 is organizing wedding galleries for clients. So it depends. I know a lot of you photograph, pets and all of that,
Yeah.
but if there's any reason for you to like maybe organize things up at the top for easier access for different moments that you had during the session, different scenery, like for weddings, if you are
Right?
all, there's so many different parts of the day. So for the best client experience, I have to organize that at the top with like ceremony photos, family photos, and that takes time, and though it's not that much time, it's time, and it's an additional thing on the to-do list, and that saves me about 25 minutes per wedding, and that's 5 hours saved during busy season. The next one, we have album design. This one
Oh,
was so
uh-huh.
freeing because it created this whole new passive income stream for me, because all I have to do is sell an album and then it's all done for me. It's amazing. So that saves me about 2.5 hours per wedding, and that's 30 hours saved during busy season. I love racking up these saved
Uh-huh.
hours.
We're
Then
gonna have a
task
whole, like, European type of multiple months off
Yeah,
coming up here
exactly.
soon.
Yeah, like full August off. Yeah. Then task number 7 is putting together blog posts on my website. So, actually putting in the SEO, by the way, pro tip, you can literally buy an SEO course instead of you learning it. You just assign it to your virtual assistant to learn,
Mhm.
especially if you're paying $5 to $7 an hour. Like that's very affordable if it takes them maybe 5 to 7 hours to go through it. And then they can be your SEO person on your website that
Uh-huh.
easily. So yeah, she does my SEO, inputs the images properly, adds the text and all of that. So that saves me about 1 hour per post. And on average, I'd say I blog maybe 50% of my weddings. So let's say that's 10 hours saved during busy season for that. And then task number 8. So this one is probably Nicole, what you would like. It's helping with Instagram graphics in Canva, like the
Yes,
photo
please.
carousels, the IG stories about like promoting the new blog posts that you have up, right? Model calls, content marketing, all of that. So it's obviously so hard to really figure out an exact number, but like with my my
Priceless.
rough
That's
estimation.
priceless.
Yeah, my rough estimation is about 40 hours saved during busy season. It's kind of like just the best estimation I can make on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, those are the 8 tasks that are like kind of like top of list, but there's like so much you can customize this so much. They can do research for you, they can help you with your inbox, calendar management, like so much. And so the total of how much hours I saved with just those tasks only is 225 hours during busy season.
Wow.
But let me break it
That's
down.
like, what, 6 weeks?
So
It's like
yeah, no,
almost 6 weeks.
like let's say okay, May to November or May to October, May, June, July,
And this isn't even the whole year. This is just your busy season.
exactly. Yeah. So I'm gonna wait, let me whip out my calculator. So May, June, I'm counting on my fingers. May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months, 6 freaking months. Okay, 225 hours divided by 6 months. So that's an average of 37 hours saved each month, which is a full work week off.
Wow.
And then you all know that you want to know how much it'll cost you, right?
Right. Yep.
So this is a range because let's just say you might find someone for $5 an hour. That's a good fit for you. Maybe they're $7 an hour. It's just
Mhm.
like a little bit of a range. So that would cost you for the entire wedding season or your entire season $1,100. 1,100. I thought I said $11. No, $1,100 to $1,500. That's it.
Wow.
And imagine with those 225 hours, you would be able to like book so many more sessions.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying fill up all those hours with the sessions. I'm saying fill up part of those hours with sessions, make that money, and then guess what? Fill up all the other hours with whatever else you want, right?
Mhm.
Like whatever else gives you that like freedom in your life that fulfills you.
Well,
Isn't
and
that just
here's
mind blowing?
I love it. And here's the thing. It becomes addictive once you
Oh, yeah.
start doing it. And then it will start to carry over into personal life a little bit too,
Mhm.
where, I start to look at, we haven't pulled the trigger on this yet, but I've been making a list of,
And checking it
it's-
twice?
yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, I check my list a lot. I love lists.
No, I was thinking Christmas. Make a
Uh,
list, checking
check
it
it twice.
twice. Sorry.
It's all good. But anyway, I'm starting to make a list of random household things that
Mm,
I don't want to do that I could hire just a personal assistant to,
yes.
a high school kid, a college kid for $15 an hour to go make those returns to Target for me, to go to Costco and pick up what we need, like just to go to shopping, do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
Just kind of keeping a list of what that is. And so it can be an average of like 3 hours a week.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100% 3 hours of my time is worth $45.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
just even if I use those 3 hours to sit on the front porch and read a book,
Oh my
like,
god.
worth it.
So worth it. Yes.
Yeah. And I think once you start to get there too, like, you'll start to notice, I mean, we talk a lot about mindset on this show. So, as you guys start to think about outsourcing, what thoughts start to come up in your head? Like, does it come up with, oh, only XYZ types businesses do that?
Mhm.
Or, what thoughts come up in your head when we say hire someone overseas?
Mhm.
Because that usually has
There's a
some sort
stigma.
of, yeah, some
Yeah.
sort of thoughts around them.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, my overseas team is amazing. Shout out to Venus, who's editing this right now.
Mm.
She's the
That's an
best.
amazing name too. Oh my god.
I know, I know. Gosh, she's been with me for, oh, Venus, how long you've been with me? At least 3 years, if not a
That's
little bit
amazing.
more.
Yeah.
Started as part-time project based and now is basically full-time, and helps everything run. We couldn't live without her.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it just take a stock of like what you're thinking, or if you start to get like a tightness to your chest when you start to think about it, like why are you concerned about it, what are you worried about,
Mhm.
and then reach out to me or Sarah. We can help you rearrange that thought, because
Yeah.
truly once you start to experience it, it is just really life changing, because then you can start to get that balance. I mean, we all talk about this mythical balance between life and business. And, sometimes there might be seasons, but you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because if you're saying to yourself like, "Oh, I'll exercise once I,
Mhm.
get more processes done and this and that. Oh, I'll do this once. I'll do that once." Just one more week of staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning editing,
Yeah.
like, it's not healthy to be there, because it becomes really easy to keep saying that over and over again.
And then if nothing changes, nothing changes. Like
Right.
if you're doing that task, you're like, "Oh, this is my one last time." It's actually not your one last time because you have to do it again in a way where you're training someone
Mhm.
for it to actually be your last time. So every time you're actually doing it yourself and you're fooling yourself it's your last time, it's actually not because you have to still show someone how to do it. Only once you're in training mode and that's done, then it's your last time.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to catch myself of, is this a task that I've been doing again and again and again? And
Mhm.
then even if I haven't, back in the beginning, even if I didn't know who was gonna do that task yet, I would sometimes just grab a Loom video and record it, so that
Yes.
I could start to have this little Loom library, which is what we do on our team now. Whenever there's a new thing, it's just like, "Hey, record a Loom, pop it over here into our little SOP place."
Yeah.
So that way, if there's questions, especially for things that you don't do often. So you can do this even if you're not going to outsource it, but like paying my quarterly sales tax, the PA system was really straightforward and easy. The North Carolina system is a freaking nightmare. You have to like have it per county and town. It's total crazy. So
Yeah.
I recorded a video for myself of
Mm.
basically my own SOP. So
Yeah.
because I noticed every time I would go to do it, I would procrastinate and be like, I'm gonna have to figure this out again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I would get in there and spend twice as long as now I can just do it in 3 minutes. So looking for
Exactly.
those different places to
Of
record.
opportunity, leveraging your
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge. Oh my gosh. This has been so good. I hope you guys out there are really excited to start testing this out. Um,
Mhm.
where can, well, actually, before we do that, is there anything you kind of want to say to kind of bring it all together for everybody, or just like last words of encouragement for people that, are interested in starting to dip a toe into this?
Yeah. I'm trying to see what
Like,
intuitive hit am I getting
or like
right now
even
of what
where
you
do you
need to
start?
hear.
Like, what's the first thing that you do?
First thing is to admit that you have a problem. No, I'm joking.
And sing along with us. Hi, I'm the problem. It's
Kind
me.
of joking, but not. No, I think it's just to stop fooling yourself having that reality check because I remember like, off season, slower season, there's no off season, slow season for photographers. I used to fool myself every year and be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to update my like client experience. I'm going to update my workflows because I really want to elevate the experience. Great. And then you look at your calendar at the year ahead, you're like, I actually don't have like my ideal amount of bookings. I'm maybe like halfway there or
Mhm.
like two-thirds there, but I'm not fully booked. So that means I'm gonna have an easier season. So that means I won't be overworked. So I'll be fine.
Oh, this
Okay,
is
yeah. This
fine.
year I'm finally not gonna be burnt out. Oh my God, the amount of times I said that to myself and the amount of times other photographers have told me that they do this. And
Mhm,
then, August rolls around, September, October. And then when you're in the thick of it and you don't have systems in place, you don't have the support, you are forced to stay up working all night and all that kind of stuff. So it's like having that snap realization. Like if you felt some kind of movement within you while listening to this, being like, oh, I think that's me, it's okay. Like every person has this realization, and the fact that you have that realization, that is huge. And the fact that it's come to your consciousness, that is the first step. That is huge. So just you don't have to do anything more than just realize and accept it and you don't have to beat yourself up for it over it. Just know that okay, yeah, if I don't change up my systems, I am going to continue and continuously hit burnout. And so I'm open and willing to listen, to learn, to trust someone that has done it and apply it in my business so that I moved through a new challenge just like when you first learned your camera on manual, right? There was so much
mhm,
resistance there. I
mhm,
know for me, I literally didn't touch my camera for 2 years. When I was 16, I was terrified. 2 years. And then, so like there's so much resistance there, but no matter what, there's going to be new things to go through and move through in your business if you do want it to grow, right? So
mhm.
and I'm sure you do. So that's what I would say the first step is.
Well, and this works too. It's a great point. This works too, though, whether you're full time or part time.
Yeah.
And I always used to like to say too, because I would hear them say, "Oh, I don't need to be priced profitably. I just do this part time." I'm like, you need to be more profitable because you're only part time. So like your
Mhm.
time is even more limited.
Yeah, because 'cause you're already
Yeah,
working something else,
right.
most likely. Yeah.
Yeah. So whether you are doing this part time with no intention to go full time, or if you're going full time and you want to grow it, outsourcing can help you leverage more of that time because I mean it's really truly like putting a quarter into a slot machine and getting $1 out in
Yeah.
both profits and time.
Yeah, both. Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
I love
gosh.
that you said that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, tell everybody a little bit about what you do to help photographers start to tackle this outsourcing bit and where they can find out more.
Yeah, so this is what I specialize in teaching is all of my outsourcing systems and all of that, but instead of like, overwhelming photographers with all of that, I I'm so excited. I'm offering a brand new live workshop where I'm just going to help photographers take that first step to like bridge the gap between I've never outsourced before, I've never gotten help to okay, let me just outsource, let me hire a virtual assistant for 2 to 3 hours a week to start small. I can invest $15 a week for 3 hours of my time back. I can
Mhm.
do that. And then once they have that step in place, once they found their dream and affordable virtual assistant, again, like you said, it becomes addictive. You can gamify it. You're like, "Oh my god, what else can I give to this person?" And so I'm hosting a workshop really soon. It's going to be live May 8th to the 12th. And if you can't make it live, there'll be replays available so you can register anyway. But it's called 5 Days to Your Dream and Affordable Virtual Assistant. And
Oh, I
so I'm
love
so
it.
excited about that. My teaching style is very straight to the point, no fluff. I don't like to waste people's time because I'm all about teaching people how to have more time freedom, right? So every single day it's going to be a half hour training, not even it might not even be that long either
Yep.
with a homework assignment. So every single day with the training and the homework, you would just need about an hour of your time, and it's depending on where you're listening in from. I mean, I'm in Ontario, Canada. So in May, it's just we're gearing up just before a busy season. So it's like people, I know a lot of photographers have that time available.
Mhm.
But if you do invest that time to find that person, you're gonna in the long run like reap the benefits for the rest of the season so much. And so yeah, I'm really excited to literally step by step teach photographers how to do this. There's going to be a private community where you're all going to be going through the steps all together. So you're not going to be on your own. I'm going to be answering questions outside of the training. Whenever you're actually in action, you're like, oh, I have a question. Pop into the private group, ask. I'm there to support. And I also would love to break down like every single day what you're going to learn because it's really bite sized. So, day one, you're going to take action and discover exactly what you're going to focus on outsourcing first in your business. And this is going to be small. Again, I'm not going to ask you to choose all the things. I'm going to ask you to pick one or two or three things
You
maximum.
won't say, "You need to outsource all your client inquiries." Oh my god.
Exactly, exactly. No, I'm gonna teach you exactly how to easily pick the best first thing to start off with. And it's not the same thing for everyone, and so that's why I need to teach how you pick the right
Mhm.
things so that you avoid those mistakes. And then I'm also going to teach you where you can actually find that VA overseas ethically for $5 to $7 an hour. And then day two, I'm going to give you my step by step process of putting together an effective job posting to be super clear and literally a magnet to like your unicorn, like perfect VA. Like, because you might be thinking, well, I have all these specific needs. Like, who is going to be perfect for that? It's like, no, the more specific you are, and I'm going to
Mhm.
show you how, the better applicants you'll get. And it's just, it's like seamless. So, you're going to get quality responses from that. So pretty much day two, I'm going to show you how to put together a job posting. You can literally copy and paste my templates as well. And you're going to post that. You're going to be in action that day and you're going to
Ooh.
post it. Okay. And by the way, there's no pressure at the end of this process for you to be like, yes, for sure, I'm hiring a person. Like, no, but at least you're going to even learn the skill on how to do
Mhm.
it. Right. Day three, you're going to learn how to quickly and effectively batch review applications with a secret little way of doing it that I have, which is going to take you 1 hour or less. Because if you're getting like 50 applications, if you're
Mhm.
not doing it in the most efficient way, it could take you literally 5 hours. But I'm going to teach you how to do an hour or less so that you choose the right candidates to interview. And then day four, I'm going to teach you exactly what questions to ask and give you interview techniques so that you just have it printed out while you're interviewing them and you have the step by step game plan. You don't have to figure it out. So that's amazing. And so day four, that's when you're actually going to start interviewing your 1 to 3 candidates. And day five, you're going to still, if you still have a couple more interviews left on that day, you can complete those. But I'm also going to be teaching you on day five how to decide between those people because you might be
Aw.
like, well, now how do I decide? Decision paralysis by analysis, right?
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I'm going to teach you exactly what to look for to see who's the right person for you. And that's going to be the experience. And the workshop is very accessible, very affordable. It's only $33 and you have lifetime access to it. be able to learn this skill that is so valuable to finding anyone else, your editor, all of that. And yeah, you can, registration is open. You can go to saramonica.com/VA. So VA is short for virtual assistant. And that's Sarah, no H, Monica with a K.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the link will be in the show notes, guys. So definitely go check that out. Saramonika.
Yeah, the Polish
Um,
way.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you guys if this podcast, if you were listening to it and you're thinking like, "Oh, man, yeah, you're feeling what we are laying down here," definitely go check this out. $33, completely affordable to be able to buy back so much of your time.
Yeah, and also if you're, like, sitting there being like, "I don't know, I still don't know if it's the right, like, workshop for me to take," right?
Mhm.
Literally shoot me a DM, Sarah Monica photo on Instagram, Sarah no H, Monica with a K. I will walk you through it. I My number one, like, intention is to always guide photographers to a place that is actually right for them on their journey. I
Mhm.
would never steer a photographer like, yeah, this is exactly what you need right now. No, like I've told many people before, like, no, 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 this actually isn't the right fit. I think you should actually start here with where you're at. So if you are just like curious, just like shoot me a DM, ask me. I'm happy to help you figure it out.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Oh my gosh. This has been so, so good. So much great information. I hope you guys out there feel inspired to start to figure out what you can outsource in your business and then also maybe in your personal life.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my God.
yeah, all the things.
Yeah.
So, so good. So, thank you again for being with us. Definitely hit up Sarah on Instagram. Let her know if you found this helpful. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Nicole.
Of course. Bye, everybody.